In the last video, we covered the basics of the Docker run command. This time, as a follow-up, we're focusing specifically on the networking aspect, which many of you had questions about. We'll take a much deeper look at what's happening behind the scenes of this single line. For those preparing for CCNA, you'll recognize many familiar concepts like NAT, routing tables, and network segmentation, all in action. This video is for you if you use Docker commands regularly, but have only a vague understanding of what the options mean. You want to deeply understand the mechanism that enables communication between a container and the host PC, or between containers. You're studying for CCNA and want to see networking theory in practice. You want to solidify your understanding of fundamental networking concepts before moving on to Docker Compose. Let's move beyond the tutorials and aim for a more profound understanding. Docker run. This creates and starts a new container. Then a pagan/test-rest-api. This is the image, the blueprint for our container. This runs the container in the background. This is key. It's our external door, mapping port 8080 on our host PC to port 8080 inside the container. In CCNA terms, this P option is implementing static NAT. We're translating the host's IP and port to the container's private IP and port. Let's see this in practice. We'll start a container with the P option. With this single option, you can now access the API through the host's localhost 8080. The door is open. Now, let's check the routing table on both the host and inside the container to understand the path. Notice how the container uses the Docker bridge as its default gateway, just like a physical server uses a router to reach other networks. Let's visualize exactly what's happening using CCNA terminology. When a request comes to port 8080 on your host PC, Docker uses rules in the host's kernel, often IP tables on Linux, to perform network address translation. This is identical to what happens on a Cisco router doing NAT. The inside local address, the container's private IP, gets translated to an inside global address, the host's IP. So, the P flag isn't magic. It's simply a convenient way to automatically create this port forwarding rule for you, equivalent to a static NAT entry on a router. But why is this P option even necessary? The answer lies in Docker's philosophy of isolation. This concept is similar to VLANs in switching, creating logical separation for security and organization. By default, every container lives in its own private network space, preventing port conflicts. When you run a container, it attaches to a default bridge network and gets a private IP. The P option is the NAT rule that connects the outside world to this private network. Now for the deeper part. What if you don't want to expose a container, like a database, that should only be accessible by your API? To test this, let's create our own dedicated network. This is like creating a separate VLAN. If we inspect this network, you can see it gets its own subnet and gateway. This is network segmentation in action. Now, we'll start our API server on this network. But this time, Without the P option, the external door is closed. If we try to access localhost 8 or 80, the connection fails. There is no NAT rule to forward the traffic, as we can confirm by checking the IP table's NAT rules. However, let's connect another client container to the same network and see what happens. From inside this client container, we can now ping API server. We get a response. This is a key feature of user-defined networks. Docker provides a built-in DNS server that lets containers resolve each other's names to their private IP address. This is much like how servers in a corporate network would use an internal DNS server to find each other without needing to know their specific IP addresses. Today, we demystified Docker networking using concepts you'll recognize from CCNA. The P option implements static NAT. The external door connecting isolated container networks to the host. Custom networks provide VLAN-like segmentation for security and organization. Internal communication uses a built-in DNS server for service discovery. And we saw how routing tables and virtual interfaces work, just like in physical networks. This knowledge bridges theory and practice for network professionals. We sure hope this deep dive helped bridge the gap between network and theory and real-world application. Be sure to subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching.